from the Valley's News Channel. This is Channel 5 News This Weekend.
A state representative hit by a stray bullet during New Year's celebrations. His condition tonight, but first. All new tonight, the Texas Rangers investigating a homicide in Edcouch. Channel 5's Christian Von Preissing live at the scene for us tonight. Christian, what's the latest?
Stephen, good evening. Well, tonight, police are taking their time with this site, and information is coming in slow. One thing I can tell you about the scene behind me, 2 blocks behind me, there's a school, an elementary school, and 1 block behind me is the car that's the center of this scene, stopped in its tracks tonight. Now, why are the police taking this so seriously? The image of the shot-up white SUV tells you a lot. There's bullet holes in the windows. 1 person is dead. That's according to the DPS. I can tell you that at 6 p.m., I heard a Valley police scanner talk about a shooting here in Edcouch, and this is Jose Borrego and 107 in Edcouch, the crime scene just a block to the north of the highway here. Police have lit up the scene for the night. They're taking their time, and on the scene right now are Edcouch police and the Texas Rangers assisted by various firefighters. Now, we do have more questions. We're waiting for those answers, including who else was in that car, if anybody else was in that car, and who the suspects are. We're waiting for those answers here tonight. At 10 in Edcouch, Christian Von Preissing, Channel 5 News.
Developing news, State Representative Armando Martinez is in stable condition tonight after he was hit by a stray bullet during a New Year's celebration. That bullet was fired around 3 this morning near Mile 11 and Westgate in Weslaco. Channel 5's Stephen Sarabia joins us in the studio with more. Stephen.
Folks in the area tell us they heard the celebratory gunfire last night. Now they are concerned for their own safety. It's not the kind of pops in the sky they were hoping to hear.
We did hear the gunfire last night. I mean, no doubt about it.
Armando Sanchez says the sounds of gunshots in the air is common during the holidays.
It happens when we have the fireworks. You know, you get the occasional gunshots in the air, but last night it was kind of heavy. You couldn't hear the difference yesterday.
Worried for his family's safety, they cut the outdoor celebration short.
And you do get the occasional gunfire. You can tell the difference between the gunfire and the fireworks last night. It got to a point where it was kind of bad. Sent the kids home inside while I finished up outside, and I went inside as soon as I finished what I was doing. And
today, Sanchez learned one of his neighbors, State Representative Armando Martinez, was possibly struck by one of these bullets, leaving him in a stable condition. A fear Sanchez says is now very real for his family.
That's very scary, because that's the thoughts we had last night when we were hearing it.
Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office spokesperson J.P. Rodriguez says situations like this one is what they try to prevent.
If a firearm is being discharged in a reckless manner, there is a potential for criminal charges.
These charges depend on how much damage is done and can range from a Class C misdemeanor, which is a fine up to $500, to a third-degree felony, which could land you 2 to 10 years in jail.
It sounds cliche, but what goes up is going to come down, and if that's a bullet, there's a chance that it might hurt somebody.
In this case, it did. Sanchez hopes people will be more considerate to the people who celebrate outdoors. Rodriguez says the investigation is ongoing. You can count on Channel 5 News to keep you updated. In the Channel 5 News studio, Stephen Sarabia, Channel 5 News This Weekend.
Tonight, DPS is investigating a rollover crash that left a Rio Grande City woman dead. 24-year-old Edlavina Hernandez from Rio Grande City was partially ejected after she lost control and hit a tree. This crash happened this morning on Embassy Road, south of FM 755 in Rio Grande City. Hernandez died there at the scene. A Donna woman facing charges after a fatal crash on FM 1423 near Eldora Road. She was driving a white Chevy van when it hit a light pole. The 46-year-old passenger, Juan de Dios Cavazos Hinojosa, died there at the scene. The driver was injured and taken to McAllen Medical Center. She was then taken to the Hidalgo County Jail, where she now faces an intoxication manslaughter charge.
Hey everyone, we started off this New Year's Day on a warm note with high temperatures reaching 83 degrees here in Weslaco and 85 in McAllen. We've seen a mix of sun and clouds for this afternoon. Now we're seeing more clouds streaming into the valley. There's a very slight chance of a shower tonight and a slight chance for some patchy overnight fog. Temperatures are not too bad right now. We're in the lower 70s most areas with mid-60s on the island. Here's your day planner forecast. There is a slight chance for some patchy fog tomorrow morning. Otherwise mostly cloudy at 8 a.m. with temperatures in the mid-60s. So some of you may want that light sweater or jacket, but not necessary for the afternoon. It is warm tomorrow in the afternoon with mostly sunny skies. Temperatures in the lower 80s at noon and also at 5 p.m. Now, we are tracking a cold front this week. We'll let you know when that arrives in the 7-day forecast. Back to you, Steve.
Tomorrow we continue to take an in-depth look at mental illness right here in the Valley. The special coverage is part of our Heart of the Valley. You'll learn the signs and symptoms of mental illness, and we will take you inside the lives of those who deal with mental illness. Our Channel 5 News special reports air Monday through Friday during our 6 and 10 p.m. newscasts. If you miss any of our reports, just head over to our website, krgb.com. A former Valley judge winding down his time as Secretary of State, but now that he's leaving that job, could he return to public service here in the Valley? That answer is ahead.
And it was a warm New Year's Day Sunday. Our high temperature here in Weslaco reached 83 degrees. Low this morning was 60. Normals are 70 and 48. So, yes, we're going to start off this work week on a warm note, but another cold front is on the way. I'll let you know when that arrives in the forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Breaking news, breaking stories. This is Channel 5 News with Steve Solis. First Warn 5 weather with meteorologist Andrew Chung. And sports with Brandon Ortega. This is Channel 5 News this weekend.
Former Cameron County Judge Carlos Gascos will end his current job as Secretary of State on Wednesday. Gascos resigned because he and Governor Abbott are moving in different directions. Gascos says since taking office in February of 2015, he's accomplished the things he set out to do, including increasing voter turnout and visiting cities throughout Texas. Gascos says he will continue to be involved in public service right here in the Valley. He is not counting out another run for the Cameron County Judge's seat, the seat that he's actually won twice. Rolando Pablos, chairman for the state's racing commission, will replace Gascos. A woman charged with intoxication manslaughter for a fatal crash returns to court on Thursday. That's when we may find out her trial date. 38-year-old Cynthia Arias Herderia was recently indicted by a grand jury. Investigators say she was behind the wheel when she hit 42-year-old motorcyclist Milton Solano this summer.
And right now it's a mild Sunday evening. Temperatures across most of the valley are in the lower 70s with mid-60s on the island. We're going to start off this work week on a warm note, but a cold front is on the way. Details coming up next.
And now, First Warn 5 weather with meteorologist Andrew Chung.
Welcome back, everyone. Happy New Year. And it's been a warm start to this new year with a temperature in the lower 80s for the high in Weslaco. We're going to start off this first week of 2017 on a warm note, but that ends thanks to a cold front that arrives midweek, putting a break on the warm temperature. So if you like the colder weather, it is on the way for the second half of the week. We've been seeing a mix of sun and clouds for this afternoon. We expect mostly cloudy skies to continue for tonight. There is a very slight chance of a shower and a slight chance for some patchy overnight fog. The temperatures are not too shabby right now. We are in the lower 70s across most of the valley with mid-60s on the island at this time. So here's your day planner forecast. There's a slight chance for some patchy fog overnight into tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Otherwise, it's mostly cloudy. And some of you may want that light sweater or jacket tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. with a temperature of 66 degrees, but those jackets not necessary for the afternoon. It is warm tomorrow afternoon with mostly sunny skies, a temperature of 83 at noon and 81 degrees at 5 p.m. So here's a surface map. We have one warm front pushing past Dallas, Fort Worth, and the Texas Panhandle. Look at this line of showers and thunderstorms heading toward West Texas. And it's been a very soggy New Year's Day for people in the southeastern U.S. thanks to a frontal boundary stalled out over Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. Out west, one front is draped over New Mexico, and we've been seeing some snow in parts of Albuquerque and Santa Fe, New Mexico. Now, for us, things will stay warm during the day for tomorrow and for Tuesday. Look at the temperatures right now. 48 degrees in Amarillo, 46 in El Paso, 49 in Odessa, To the northeast, 60 in Dallas-Fort Worth, 52 in Austin, 59 in Longview, and 62 degrees in San Antonio. So on future track, that warm front that you saw will continue to push northward into Oklahoma and Arkansas. Our high temperatures will be in the 80s, upper 80s for tomorrow. 1 weak cold front moves into our area for tomorrow. It's still going to be warm during the day, but the difference is by tomorrow night, because behind that front, those low temperatures Monday night will fall mid-50s by Tuesday morning. So some cooler nighttime lows for tomorrow. And yes, it still stays warm during the day for Tuesday with highs in the lower 80s, but things change by midweek. A second front, a stronger one, should arrive here in the valley by, we think, early Wednesday morning. So that puts the brakes on the warm weather. Our temperatures should fall into the 60s by Thursday and Friday. And there is a better chance for some spotty showers Thursday and Friday as the front stalls out just to the south of us. So the second half of the work week should be much, much cooler. On the water, small craft should use caution for tonight. We've got winds tonight out of the south, shifting to the north tomorrow at 10 to 20 knots. Bay waters a moderate chop tonight and tomorrow morning, then becoming light by tomorrow afternoon. Your next tide is a low tide at 10:53 tomorrow morning, and the seas are 4 to 8 feet. So for tonight, we'll call it mostly cloudy. There is that slight chance for some patchy late fog and a very slight chance of a shower. It stays cool with overnight lows in the mid-60s. Then for tomorrow, after that chance for some patchy morning fog, mostly sunny skies return by the afternoon. If you like warm weather, it is going to be warm tomorrow with a high temperature of 87 degrees, but much less humid behind that weak front because of the winds. They'll be coming out of the northwest to north at 10 to 15 miles an hour. So yes, it does stay warm tomorrow and Tuesday during the day. Not warm Tuesday morning with a low temperature of 54 degrees. It is cooler on Wednesday. That high temperature might be reached in the morning on Wednesday of 74, perhaps falling into the 60s, but partly cloudy for Wednesday. And then Thursday, cloudy skies return. There is a 30% chance of some spotty showers Thursday and Friday, and there are your high temperatures. Mid-60s Thursday, 60 on Friday, morning low in the upper 40s for Friday. That's your first 1-5 forecast. Now let's go to Brandon with a look at sports.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Coming up, an NFL recap. The Cowboys and Texans wrapping up the regular season today. Plus, Spurs putting in some overtime on New Year's Day. We've got highlights from Atlanta coming up on Channel 5 News this weekend. Stay with us.
And now sports with Brandon Ortega.
NBA off the top. Spurs, Hawks working overtime on New Year's Day. Under a minute. Spurs down by 3, but Kawhi Leonard, bam, ties it up with 34 seconds left. Then fast forward, Hawks at the line, missed the free throw, but they get the rebound, and they're up by 1, so the Spurs forced a foul, sending Atlanta back to the line, and they'd end up going up by 2. So Spurs, last chance to tie. Kawhi Leonard, good look for a layup, but a little off the mark, and that would do it. Spurs lose a overtime heartbreaker to open up 2017. They're back home Tuesday with the Toronto Raptors. And with that, Happy New Year. And today, the Cowboys wrapping up the regular season in the NFL. Now, with the 1 seed already locked up in the NFC, a lot of folks wondered, a lot speculated who would play quarterback. One thing was for sure, no Ezekiel Elliott. He sat out the game today against the Eagles. Dak Prescott did play a little bit in the first day. And in the second quarter, Tony Romo making his regular season debut. And Romo looked sharp. Check this out. First and goal, right on the money to Terrence Williams for the touchdown. Cowboys go up 10-3 at that point. Mark Sanchez taking over under center from that point on. And the former first-round pick struggled. One of 2 interceptions right here. And the Eagles took advantage each time he threw one. And the Cowboys went on to fall in the finale, 27-13. So they finish up the regular season 13-3. That's tied for the best record in franchise history. So this is what the NFC standings is looking like right now. Almost wrapped up. Cowboys, Falcons, Seahawks locked in 1-2-3. As we speak, Packers and Lions playing for that 4th seed. If the Packers can hang on, they would get the 4th. Lions lose, they would get the 6th. The Giants have already locked up the 5 spot for the other wild card spot. So now in the AFC, the Texans thought they had the quarterback situation figured out. Right now, it's back up in the air, and we'll show you why. The Texans and Titans going to battle in Tennessee. Second quarter, Titans up 7. So Tom Savage here on the quarterback keeper went down after he picked up a first down. So shortly after, the team pulls him, ended up suffering a concussion on that play, would not return for the rest of the game. More on Savage later in a minute. Brock Osweiler would take over, and then later Titans back in the red zone. Matt Castle, the former Cowboy, to Rashard Matthews, doubling up the lead, 14-0. Then third quarter, Osweiler goes to work. C.J. Fedorowicz for the touchdown, and then later in the third, so Titans back up by 7. Derrick Henry, the former Heisman Trophy winner, puts the game out of reach, and the Titans hang on to win it 24-17. At this point, Texans still uncertain on Tom Savage's status for the playoffs. Let's take a look now at the AFC wild card. Texans will take on the Raiders in the first round. Houston will host that matchup either Saturday or Sunday. 3-seed Steelers will host the Dolphins. Yesterday, UTRGV men's basketball rung out 2016 with a bang. The Vaqueros pulling away to beat Texas A&M Kingsville 96-78 yesterday at the Fieldhouse. Antonio Green, team high 21 points, had 5 3-pointers. He continues to lead the nation from beyond the arc in field goal percentage and in made threes. And then Mike Hoffman added 20 points. That's a career high for him. Vaqueros now won 6 of their last 7. Great momentum as they get ready for conference play.
We fear no one. We respect everyone, but I feel like we can win this conference, and I'm not just saying that because it's my team. I feel like the work we put in each and every day, we work very hard. I believe we're the best conditioned team in the conference, if not the country, so I believe we can win the conference.
Vaqueros open up WAC play Thursday at Chicago State. The women's team will open things up Thursday at home. That's all for sports.
Still to come, a Missouri couple watches 2 burglars break into their home all on their cell phones. Up next, a video you've got to see, plus what those homeowners are now saying. Take a look at this. This is what a Kansas City couple saw when they turned on an app on their phone. 2 burglars breaking into their home in real time. A security camera captures the doorbell ringing, then the family dog jumps to see who's there. That's when the door gets broken down. A couple got a text saying there was movement in their living room.
I was like, oh, it's just the dog walking around. And that's when I saw them kick in the door. And I literally just started shaking.
Your heart sinks.
The suspected burglars took the TV and other electronics. Police say they think the suspects are also targeting other homes in the area. So far, those suspects have not been caught. Tomorrow, there will be a competency hearing for the convicted South Carolina church shooter. A judge ordered Dylan Roof to undergo a psychiatric evaluation over the weekend. Roof was convicted of killing 9 black churchgoers at a South Carolina church back in 2015. The penalty phase of his trial is set to start on Tuesday. Roof could be sentenced to death. New details. We now know at least 1 American was injured in that terrorist attack in Turkey. A gunman killed at least 39 people and wounded nearly 70 others at an Istanbul nightclub during New Year's celebrations. Turkish police believe the shooter was a trained ISIS fighter, and a manhunt is now underway for that gunman. ABC's Mark Remillard reports.
Security camera video catches the gunman at work, bullets ricocheting in the streets, people running for their lives. The shooter stalking the nightclub entrance, killing a policeman and another person before barreling through the front door. Inside, we see a gunman in white wearing a hood. Authorities believe the attacker changed clothes. He stayed inside for 7 murderous minutes, shooting at the crowd that had gathered, an estimated 600 people. At least 39 people dead, including more than 24 foreigners. The club popular with tourists. Dozens more were injured, including American Jake Rock from Delaware, who was shot in the leg.
I don't know. I saw one person there shooting. I'm hiding one. So.
Earlier in the evening, people were celebrating the new year with sparklers and confetti. Then
people were falling down because of shooting. That was a terrible thing.
My husband told me to get on the ground. Then a man came. This woman says, on my left, right, everyone was crying. The smell of gunpowder was everywhere. The U.S. and Turkey calling it a terrorist attack. There's been no claim of responsibility, but Turkish police sources tell ABC News they believe the shooter was a trained ISIS fighter.
The nightclub, it's a target, it's a symbol of secular decadence that makes it very attractive to jihadi terrorists.
As families bury their loved ones, the U.S. consulate warning Americans in Istanbul to shelter in place. Mark Remillard, ABC News, New York.
The National Weather Service has issued a dense fog advisory for coastal Willacy and coastal Cameron counties, as well as the Bay and nearshore Gulf waters. All until 4 o'clock this morning, fog is forming along the coast. We're going to take one last look at the 7-day forecast after this break.
Once again, 2 schools battle it out in today's Masterminds.
Name the scientists who developed both of these laws, the law of segregation and the law of independent assortment.
Let's look at Andrew Chung for this one. Name the scientists who developed both of these laws, the law of segregation and the law of independent assortment.
Sounds like a statistician.
Yeah.
Statistics.
Okay.
You know, Laplace?
Okay. If anybody would know, it'd be this guy. Let's go with that.
Name the scientists who developed both of these laws, the law of segregation and the law of independent assortment. Edinburgh North Daniel.
Gregor Mendel?
Yes.
Oh, well done. That kid's very smart.
Very smart.
Yeah. Well, this time, Edinburgh North beat PSJA North by a score of 210 to 85. As always, $100 donated to each school for library resources. Masterminds airs Sundays at 11 o'clock right here on Channel 5 and hosted by the one and only Tim Smith.
All right, let's take another look at that 7-day forecast. Dense fog advisory now in effect for coastal Willacy and coastal Cameron counties until 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. Also for the nearshore Gulf waters and the Bay waters. Fog is already forming along the coastal areas. If you're in that area, please be careful on the roadways. Here's that 7-day forecast. We're down to 64 for tonight, 87 degrees for tomorrow afternoon, mostly sunny for tomorrow afternoon. It's also warm for Tuesday with high of 83, but a stronger cold front comes in early Wednesday. So we're going to go into the 60s by Thursday and Friday for the highs.
All right, thanks, Andrew. If you're calling it tonight, sleep well. If not, stick around. We'll have a report from Ed Couch on that shooting in less than 2 minutes. See you then.